Chair would recognize the gentleman from Oregon, good state.
We're not even good state now. Thanks.
Mr. Walden,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Secretary, again, thank you for being here. Before I say anything, we should also draw attention to the fact it's Mr. Wahlberg's birthday today. So happy birthday from Michigan, the great state of Michigan. Mr. Secretary, I want to start by talking about Bonneville Power Administration. I appreciate your just most recent comments about respecting the will of the authorizers, which is what we are. So, along those lines, this idea of selling off the electric transmission assets and abandoning cost-based rates, the proposal has been roundly rejected by virtually every member of the Pacific Northwest congressional delegation. It is the one idea, bad idea, that unites all of us in the Northwest. I'm afraid this move could do nothing but harm my constituents, drive up electricity costs, hurt consumers across the region. So, can you assure me the DOE will leave Bonneville alone unless Congress provides explicit authorization? That authorization word again there, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, moving along. As you know, the Hanford site is just across the river from many of my constituents, and not only are safe and secure operations a concern, and I appreciate your commitment not only to that and the lab nearby, but also the help to do the cleanup here. The committee right now is working with the GAO to identify some options for improving operational performance. Will you work with us on this as we develop findings?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let me ask a broader question. As we look at modernizing the department, we're focusing on emergency and security issues, but also how the department can better expend its limited resources. We're also cognizant of the department's vast technological capabilities, which can help accelerate innovation across national security, energy, manufacturing, even medicine, as you've referenced in your testimony. But we also have to watch our taxpayers' wallets. Can you speak to your support of DOE's science, technology, computing facilities and how best to enable innovation in the private sector while attentively managing limited taxpayer resources? How are you going to balance all that? Because your labs are doing amazing work. It is phenomenal. And for our committee members, if you haven't interacted with these labs, we should figure out a way to do that and get some briefings. It is really terrific, the work that's being done there. So, Mr. Secretary, what can you tell us about how to balance all that and where you're headed in terms of the direction of the labs? And yeah.
Technology transfer is, I think, one of the real goals of this agency from the standpoint of working with the labs, and we're consolidating the EERE's tech-to-market functions over in the Office of Technology Transfer. And just as a bit of a background, I have a fairly substantial amount of experience with that. We created some programs while I was the governor of Texas, the Emerging Technology Fund, which basically is taking very, very early stage technology and getting it to the market. So I've had some experience of dealing with that as the governor of Texas, which, you know, I'm not going to say this is apples to apples, but the point is we have in place the Office of Technology Transfer, and it's looking at how to coordinate best practices across the complex and to, you know, whether it's agreement provisions and abilities to consider equities in licensing. I mean, there's a host of areas, and I don't want to drill down all that deep, but the point is we are sensitive to one of our goals in a limited budget situation is to be able to help these technologies get to maturation, if you will, or at least to the point where they're ready to be commercialized in the private sector.
All right, good. And in conclusion, for my few minutes here, this work on reorganizing and modernizing the structure of your agency is something that I take seriously. It's a goal for our committee, and I know Mr. Barton is leading that effort and working with Mr. Rush and others to get that done. So we take it seriously here. We want you to know that. We look forward to a partnership to look at how to reauthorize, modernize the agency. Our committee's got a pretty good track record looking at other agencies, and like the FCC, we reauthorized for the first time since 1990. Your agency's one that goes back before that. And so we look forward to work, continuing to work with you on that effort, and so we want to move forward. I'll thank the chairman for this hearing and return the balance of my time.
Gentlemen,